Hello and welcome back to another episode of Beyond the To-Do List. I am your host, Eric Fisher, and this is the show where we talk to the people behind the productivity, and boy, do we have somebody who's behind a lot of productivity this week. We are talking to Michael Sliwinski of Nozbe. Yes, that Nozbe, the same Nozbe, who is currently sponsoring Beyond the To-Do List. This is a great conversation. We get into a lot of the origins of Nozbe, how it's been built, what's that one key feature it has that none of the other task management systems out there have, which is a pretty cool one, as well as some of the other cool things that Michael does in terms of picking up habits, managing a remote working team, going iPad only, the productivity benefits of his Apple Watch, and what he's working on in 2016. Before we get into that conversation, I want to say thank you to Nozbe for sponsoring this episode of Beyond the To-Do List. In fact, as this episode is being published, it is out. Nozbe 3.0. The new Nozbe. You have to go check it out. Again, you can check it out at nozbe.com/todo, nozbe.com/TODO. Now more than ever, Nozbe is that tool that more than 300,000 busy people use to manage themselves and their teams around the world to get their tasks and their projects done. Nozbe is cross-platform across desktop, mobile, web app, Mac, Windows, Linux, Android, iPad, and iPhone, and even the Apple Watch. It's built for productivity, mobility, and collaboration. You got to check it out. Head on over to nozbe.com/TODO. That's nozbe.com/TODO. There you can set up a free 30-day Nozbe Pro trial. Again, head over to nozbe.com/todo. That's nozbe.com/TODO. And now let's talk with Michael Sliwinski, the founder of Nozbe. Well, this week, it is my privilege to bring to you one of the people that's been in the productivity space for the longest amount of time, Michael Sliwinski. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So you do a show called The Podcast.
Exactly.
Which, is about a bunch of different stuff. But most people, if they've heard of you already, probably know you from a couple of different things, because The Podcast is probably your most recent thing you've started. But the oldest is Nozbe.
Exactly.
And as people have heard, if they've been listening to this for a while, Nozbe's been sponsoring this show and will for a bit longer here, and I'm thrilled.
Yeah, perfect. I've been a long time listener to your show, and I've loved the interviews that you've put up, and and I always wanted to be on your show. So exactly. So when your manager contacted us about sponsorship, I was like, yeah, this is perfect.
Yeah. So you are doing so many different things, so many different interesting things. First and foremost, let's just talk about this, because for example, this is releasing on February 1st, which is a big deal in the life of Nozbe. So 9 years?
Exactly 9 years. Yes. On February 1st, 2007, I was one-man shop. I was this guy that was totally unknown on the internet, and I just I've been working for 2 years. I mean, actually, very intensively for the last half year, but 2 years in total on this, productivity application inspired by David Allen's book, Getting Things Done. And I was like, I have it. It works for me. So let's not, why not put it out and show it to everyone? Posted Nozbe on the internet, on the February 1st, 2007. And and the rest is history.
So you built it from the ground up with getting things done methodology in mind.
Yeah, I took the most important things from there. I mean, most important to me. What I loved about GTD was the concept of next actions. So I mix it with the Gmail. That in Gmail, when you can star an email, right? So that's why for me it was obvious that you have to be able to star a task to make it your next action, right?
Yeah.
So that was the basic thing, and then the second thing was the projects. That you, of course, you manage tasks with projects, so you organize them with projects, and the contexts that you work in context, so you execute things in context. And I added one more thing, which was not in GTD, but my friend actually, who's a fantastic guy, he told me about it. So like Nozbe is, I think, the only tool out there that has this small feature that when you mark a task as done, it remains until the end of the day on the list, and then it disappears on the next day. The idea being, at the end of the day, you see what you've done, right?
Yeah.
So like, because I was very hard on myself, always thinking, I'm not getting enough done. I've been slacking off. And then in reality, it wasn't true. But because everything was disappearing from my list, I had still this, list of tasks to do and not the list of tasks I have done recently. So that's why it was the very first thing that, was the first features that I added there just, because I thought it was right. And it's still there 9 years in.
And honestly, that's one of my favorite features. It's a brilliant feature for the fact that it gives you this, it gives you closure. It lets you see that at the end of the day, look at all these things that I have now checked off versus, when you're working digitally and something's deleted and it's gone, it may be done, but you don't feel like something's done at least. And that's a major shift away from, working in the digital world versus working in the tangible world.
Exactly. The parallel is very cool because my friend, he actually showed me his notebook. And he told me, look, Michael, I have here my tasks for today. And when I have something done, I just, color it with the big, with this big marker, right? And it's done. And then at the end of the day, I see the tasks done and undone. And I can, from the balance, I can see if it was a good day or not. Because, as much as we would hope to, very often there are days when we cannot get everything done we want to, right?
Exactly.
So just by seeing that you have done more than than you still have to do, it's already a good day, and you should actually celebrate it. That's why,
That's awesome. So February 1st, 2007 to February 1st, 2016, you've gone from a one-man team to how many people are on your team now? How many people are in the Nozbe family?
So Nozbe family is pretty big now. We have 24 people in the team. And then we have 10 additional, contractors, third-party people who help us and work with us. So in total, 34 people. And we all work from our homes. We have no office, and which for many people is very strange. And and we, live and breathe Nozbe.
So that's a very complex system. If you've got 24 and then plus 10 more. And they're spread, and I assume not everybody is remotely, spread out just in Germany where you're at, but elsewhere as well, right?
I'm actually in Spain now.
Oh, you're in Spain now. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Spain now.
That's right.
Yeah, and I have there's a person in Germany, there's a person in France. We have actually 2 people on our team in Asia, in Japan and Taiwan. But the core team is in Poland, and we are. The core team, the 24 people, actually the 24th is not Polish, but the 23 are Polish. But we are spread across Poland and across the world. So it is a complex thing. But I keep repeating that work is not a place to go; it's a thing that you do.
Yeah, and it's people that you interact with, even so.
Exactly.
How are you as head of Nozbe managing your team or teams remotely?
Yeah, so this is I've been growing into this. So when I started, it was just me, one-man shop. I was doing everything. It took me actually a year to hire the first developer part-time to help me with development. And then we were then I hired a support person. So we were 3 for quite a while. And then the team started growing. So, and in the last year, we just doubled our team actually from 12 to 24. So it's growing pretty rapidly now. Well, there are several things. I think the most important thing is the apps that we use. So we use Nozbe to communicate through tasks because we share lots of projects together, and then we delegate tasks to each other, and that's the one thing. But then of course we use Slack to a company chat. Mm-hmm. So because everybody needs a water cooler, right? to chat and just feel more like we are together. And then we also schedule meetings, like some regular meetings, some impromptu meetings, but we have a few regular meetings that we do via Skype. I mean, these have like serve many purposes that we, like for example, on Monday I have like a meeting with my direct reports. On Wednesday we have a meeting about designing of Nozbe, and then on Friday, for example, we have a very nice meeting that we have. Like we choose randomly 5 people from our team and me on Friday for an hour. And we chat about stuff which is not related to work. So
cool.
Yeah, so every week there are 5 different people. So and we have a script that tries to randomize this so that people get to know other people in our team, and it's just for an hour in the middle of the day, and we just chat about it's a video Skype call, and we just chat about things that are interesting for us. This way, people get to know me as the head of the team, but also they get to know each other. What people are into, what are their what do they do, how they do it, and how they live. And I think it's a great way to interact. So people are really looking forward to these Friday meetings. And also twice a year we meet in person in one place. We usually rent a hotel somewhere in Poland, and we just go there and we spend the whole week together.
That's awesome. And didn't you just do that pretty recently, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Last fall we did that like in November, and now we are going to do it again in March. So we are already right now. Exactly, we are in the process of choosing a hotel. So people are very excited because we have to just buy tickets and everything. And we can't wait. It's the thing with working remotely is that you are really looking forward to meeting people in person because you don't see them every day.
Yeah.
I mean, you see them via Skype and stuff, but you don't really see them, and we really love working with each other and especially spending time with each other. So this is something people are looking forward to.
So how often are you checking in with every individual person, or do you have people that are right below you that run certain aspects and then you just check in with them, or how's the structure set up?
Yeah, so we do have a kind of a little bit structure there because I wouldn't be able to interact with everyone every day. So I have direct reports. Like there is a head of customer support. There is a head of. I'm still the head of marketing, so there's me being the head of marketing. There is a head of development team. There's a head of design, and there's our VP of product. So we have. I have several direct reports, and then they get the work done. But I interact with people because on Slack I interact with everyone. So when we chat, and I am like any other person in our team, chatting with everyone. And also on Friday, for example, with this meeting, I mean, there are 5 people from our team chosen randomly, so we get to know each other better. And I also, our development team, for example, has regular stand-ups every day when they talk what they've developed over the last day and what they are going to develop today. So on Friday, I crash on their stand-up just to get to know them and to add my comments and tell them what I've been up to this week. So they're also then more aligned with what I'm doing.
Very cool. How do you handle the different? Well, I guess you guys are mostly all in the same. I mean, you've got some people that are in not in Europe, but how do you work with the different time zones and schedules like that?
Yeah, so luckily for political reasons, even places like France or Spain are in the same time zone as Poland. So they are all in Central European time. Yeah. So we're on the same. This is really very practical, very useful. But then we have 2 people right now in Asia. Luckily, in the mornings in Poland, it's afternoons in Asia. So it's really easy to connect with them because it's not really night or something like that. So we usually do morning meetings. So it's good for us, and it's pretty okay for people in Asia.
Okay. What about you yourself personally? How much access? I'm saying there's probably some times during the day where even though you're all remote, and some people will just think, oh, well, I'll email him, or, oh, I'll Slack Michael, or maybe I'll call him, maybe I'll text him. What kind of boundaries do you have on your own personal time or your own, I should say, work time for you to get your stuff done that's non-collaborative?
Yeah. So first of all, I have a nice structure that I set up, and I communicated it several times to my team. So first of all, I do what several people have advised me to do. I divide my week into days. So, for example, Monday is my administrative day. So Monday, I have my meetings with my direct reports, and I do all the stuff that is related to running the company, to being the CEO. And on Monday morning, I do my weekly review. So everybody knows that, Monday morning up until noon, nobody should bother me because I'm doing my weekly review, and that's it. And anyway, I on each day actually until I try to be not that accessible up until noon. And from noon over, I'm open to comments and everything else. So I try up until noon. I try to restrict access to me just to be able to get my stuff done. So that's one of the things. So on Tuesday, for example, is my day for marketing. So I do all the marketing stuff, marketing tasks. And then on Wednesday, I do the product related tasks. So everything related to Nozbe as a product, to our features, design, all these things that I talk to designers, and we have this a product meeting that we also discuss on our podcast. And then on Thursday is my writing day. So like today, when we record this, is my writing day. And on Friday is my meeting day. So on Friday, I have lots of meetings. I also try to schedule all my meetings also for Friday. So this is how I try to divide my work. And this really helps because this way also people know when I'm working on stuff. So for example, like our social media guy, he knows that he should talk to me on Tuesday because this is my marketing day, and we should, because then I'm in this marketing mode. So I would be like the most receptive, and I will be the most productive in this sense.
Right. What have been some of the challenges of onboarding your remote workers in terms of, making sure they're on task, or making sure they, that again, because you're not all working face to face and you're spread over different areas, how do you all get on the same page? And in other words, how do you instill trust, that you trust your employees and that they don't have to, look over their shoulder at you?
Yeah, so it's a complicated thing because some people are actually not well with that. So like some people need. We have had some employees, some people in our team who got to Nozbe after, for example, being in a corporate world. So for them, it was a big change. Like they were used to waking up, dressing up and going to an office. So for them, it was a big shift. And they took. For them, in the very beginning, I think they. I knew that they will be, a bit anxious. They will have some issues. So I try to coach them, like in the very beginning. I try to be more, closer to them and try to coach them. And also, right now, my direct reports, they coach them very well. And they ask how they set up their work. They give them, the best advice we can give. We also send them our, our materials, because we have the Dance Typical Productivity course. All the materials that we send to our users, we also send to our team. So that they actually can learn from what we have developed and from what we have learned. So like even my best blog posts about working from home, we send it to the team. So we try to onboard them like that, and also having me being a little bit of coaching, especially on Mondays, to help them with the transition. But some people have failed, and we had to say goodbye, because they couldn't just for them it wasn't work for them. The good thing is that people very quickly realized that you cannot fake work when you work from home,
right?
Because in an office you can always be on every meeting, be loud, talk to people, and then everybody thinks that you are getting stuff done. But here people depend on you, and you have to deliver your work. And if you don't, it's hard to fake, because after a while we'll know. Because we'll see. So very quickly people get into this dynamic that they are needed, and they are part of something, and they have to deliver their stuff because everybody else, people are depending on it. So I think it's a process, and we try not to be stressing people in the first months, and the first 3 months, especially here in Nozbe, are like the first 3 months of introductory time. We try to make it as easy for them as possible, and then give them as good advice as we can, and then later also in our in-person meetings when we meet together, I also have like a situation where we talk about productivity, where we share our experiences, and when we share our tips and tricks also between each other. So we have also something like that. So they're like, it's a complex thing, but in the end of the day, it's a lifestyle choice. And I think people, like for example, we have this guy who's one of our developers. He's actually the right now managing our development team. He was very skeptical because he was coming from corporate world, and now he wouldn't change it for a thing, because he got used to it, and he appreciates and like everyone here, the lifestyle choice that because we also are not strict about hours when you get things done. I mean, so for example, in the middle of the day, you can just you put on Slack, I have to leave for 2 hours, I'll be back, right? So, and we actually do it on Slack. Like officially, we announce when we are back, when we are off. So that people also on our team know that I'm off now. I'll be back in a second, and people, are able to go to the postal office, or I don't know, to buy something or run some errands in the middle of the day, or go running like I do, or bike riding, and then they come back and then work, and then they get things done. So it takes time, but at the end of the day, people who love it will love it, and will appreciate it.
Yeah. 2 questions come to mind from what you just were talking about. One is, being a productivity software company, how do you disseminate or train your employees in productivity? And part 2, how do you train them, or what tips or tricks do you have them use when they are using your actual product of Nozbe?
So first of all, as I said, try to give them the productivity tips and tricks. We give them the same material that we give to our customers, and to our users. So the course, the tutorials, and everything like that. And as I said in my coaching. But then to use Nozbe, it's going to sound harsh, but one of the most important things is like, you don't email me. I don't accept emails from my team. I mean, if you email me, my assistant Magda, he handles my email. She will reject it. She will tell the person, what is this, right? So like we don't use email at all. We communicate through tasks. So people very quickly learn that either they communicate through Slack to me, as a chat. But when they do a chat to me, like Michael, I would need this and this from you, and my reply would be, okay, create a task for me. And that's it, I just so very quickly, and the thing is that I started like this, and now the whole team is like this. So if you do the same to our chief designer, he will do the same, create tasks for me, man. So where's my task? Right? So very quickly we got this culture of creating tasks, delegating tasks, and so people, even if they were totally new to Nozbe, they had to really learn quickly because they are invited to many projects at the very beginning, so they are being overwhelmed at the very beginning. But then when they realize that actually this works, and then we have these tasks and we have comments, so really we communicate through tasks. So very quickly they learned this, and they learned this that we don't accept other forms of actionable items, right? So that's why, for example, for me, email is only for external communication. Like for example, with you, so and with other people, I communicate through email, and my assistant Magda handles my email. And what she does basically is that she accepts the email. She communicates through email on my behalf. And when she decides it's a moment for me to make a decision, or to revise what she's done, she actually forwards this email as a task to Nozbe, right. And then I do it in Nozbe. So again, she creates a task for me. So we have this culture of create a task for me.
Well, and the one thing I got to say about this is that I really admire the fact that you created your system and then you onboard people to that, and they learn quickly what that is. I mean, in other words, you're creating your company's culture, and it's working.
The way you say it, it sounds really good.
I'll edit this part out and just make it sound, yep, thank you.
Exactly.
Because I'm sure there's been times where it's not worked, but that's human, that's life,
Yeah, I mean, just imagine, Eric. I mean, just in 1 year we have doubled our team count from 12 to 24, and we've had people who were very promising, and it didn't work, and we've had failures and successes like everyone else. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of struggle, but for me, the coolest thing ever is the moment where, as I said before, people, we started to create this culture, and people are doing things the way I would do them, right? Like this thing of creating a task, or for example, like when we're discussing a feature in Nozbe, and the new guys, like there is a new person, and they propose, like, let's do it like this and like this. And then before I open my mouth, somebody else is saying, no, we don't do it like this because this is wrong. Because when you think about productivity aspect here, I mean, it seems right, but it's actually counterproductive. So no, we don't do this like this. I'm like, all right, I've succeeded. This is good. So these are the moments, like the gems, in my work when I see like, okay, so despite, all the problems or struggles or whatever, like when I hear people interacting like this, I'm like, okay, there's something good here.
As far as leadership goes, I have to assume, one, you were already a really productive person. I mean, you were working on Nosby, you were creating the productivity magazine, or is it Productive Magazine? I'm forgetting which.
Productive Magazine, yeah.
Productive Magazine, which is free, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Productive Magazine is free, and get it from the App Store or Google Android. Lots of great articles, great interviews. Yeah.
I'll put I'll make sure the links to that are all in the show notes so that people can go and grab that. But you were already on track as being this really, really productive person. And then you made some major changes within the past year and a half, 2 years, where you just changed up your health situation. What was kind of the catalyst for that, and what's been the outcome?
The thing is that so I have two daughters. One is 7, and the other one is 3.5. And when my daughter was born 7 years ago, so I was 2 years into Nosby. My daughter was born. Up until then, I was pretty healthy. I was doing regular. I've been practicing karate and basketball. I'm a short guy, but I like basketball anyway. So I've been doing sports, and I was pretty healthy and pretty fine. And but then when the child was born, things get out of hand, right? So I still wanted to work on Nosby and as much as I could. And then I had to, of course, take care of my family and take care of my child more, spend more time with my child. And I didn't have that much time for sports anymore, but I was still eating the same amount of stuff I've been eating before. And very quickly I gained weight, and not a lot, but like 20 pounds, right? So it is quite something. And then in the next years, I tried to be more healthy, tried to do something, more. I tried to run more. I picked up running 4 years ago. Actually, I started running, more. I was doing, more to be more healthy. But they were but these are like the things that you try to pick up something, you do it for a while, then you do it, rarely. Then sometimes do it, sometimes don't. And with the same with food, I was trying to be more conscious about what I was eating, but still sometimes I would just slack off, and so it wasn't very consistent. So I remember this, 2 years ago exactly. I came back from Christmas, and in Poland, Christmas is just, it's amazing. I mean, in Poland, Christmas you just eat all the time. So seriously, and the best food ever. So after Christmas, I mean, if you lose weight after Christmas, I mean, it means you haven't been to Poland. Because if you've been to Poland to your family, I mean, you're just going to be at least 5 pounds more. It's guaranteed. So exactly this is what happened to me. I lost some weight before Christmas, but then I went for Christmas, and then I gained weight again. And so it was like up and down all the time. And then I decided, oh no, it's now or never. Now I have to really do something about it. I have to pick up running more. I have to really make sure that I run on a regular basis, and make sure that I really, get some diet now to just lose weight right now. So I chose the slow carb diet from Tim Ferriss, and it was a fantastic also exercise of being consistent with something, of making sure that I get something done, of tracking this, of being more regular with something. And it was an amazing experience, because for the next 2 months I was on this diet. Then I was really running with my friend every week once, and then I had a second run alone. And very quickly, I lost weight. I lost 20 pounds. And then by accident, I was sharing, with my daughter's teacher, the fact that I'm doing, I'm running and I'm more healthy now. I'm leaner. And he was like, yeah, would you want to do a triathlon with me? I'm doing a triathlon. I was like, what? But then I thought, and he said, no, it's a short one. It's a sprint triathlon. It's a very short one. Why don't you just give it a try? so I did and give it a try, and now I'm a triathlete. so I loved it because then I love it because I get to do 3 sports instead of just one. I ride a bike, I run, and I swim. And I live very close to the sea here, so it's really fantastic. I can swim in the sea, so it's really good. So in the end, I started tracking everything more, also my regular exercise. And this also influenced like everything that I was doing. Suddenly, I was more consistent with everything, because I was already on this path of being more consistent with my body. And of course, the other thing is that because of being more consistent with training, I got lots of endorphins, which are really good for you because they make you happier and they make you more enthusiastic and more productive.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, ultimately, your brain is functioning at a higher level. Your body's functioning at a higher level. You have more energy. You're more focused. At what point did the Apple Watch play a factor?
Yeah, so the Apple Watch is the new thing. I mean, it was introduced last year, and yeah, Apple Watch as such it's even motivating me more because of this fitness, thing. It's so funny, They put these circles, these fitness circles on the watch, and you just want to complete them. I mean, you just want to complete them. It's for me a day when I don't complete the circles, I'm like, I should have done something to complete them. Like, you really want to complete them. So it's really very motivating. And then we also have a nosebleed complication on the Apple Watch that also you have to complete the circle to really get the day done, let's say. It's a very, very cool thing as well. But for me, the Apple Watch, in this sense, for fitness was really helping me even, get my regular exercise done. So to make sure really that I have, because for me, I wanted to have like 1 hour of exercise every day. Not more, not less, 1 hour. So like for me, completing the circles means I've done my hour because I've done my exercise properly. So it really helped me a lot. But then again, the Apple Watch also has some additional features which I really love, like the fact that you can talk to your wrist, like an Inspector Gadget.
Yes.
Which is not only a gimmick actually, because for example, my wife also has an Apple Watch. So when we are in the like, for example, shopping, and she goes to a shop, I go to a different place, and then I try to call her, she would never pick up my phone. Because she would have the phone in the purse, she wouldn't hear me, she would be, focused on shopping. She's a woman, what can I do? But then I would call her now, and now her wrist is, telling her, Michael is calling, and she just picks it up on the wrist, she asks where I am, and, so very quickly we got this dynamic that we actually communicate through the Apple Watch very, very easily. So this is very, very handy thing. And I tried to also pick up again the habit of journaling, because I've heard from many people that journaling is very cool. It's very good for you. Also, one of these good habits, right, to pick up. So just recently on my blog, I posted how I created a workflow with the workflow app on the iPhone, that actually I can dictate my journal entry to my watch, and it adds to my journal on Dropbox, which is just amazing. I just talk to my watch, and it just converts it into a journal entry on my Dropbox, and I have it there so I can review it later. It's fantastic, and it helps me really be also more consistent with journaling. So I think it's a good thing.
That's very cool. I hadn't even thought about that. So you mean the workflow app, which is the one where you've got all the different, like you create basically pulling all the different components together and create your own app essentially? Yeah,
I created a very easy workflow, like ask for input and then append it to my Dropbox file. And I put the file name. And on the watch, the cool thing is that when you install this app on your watch, you can actually make this your default choice. I mean, this workflow, right? So I just press the crown to get to the apps, tap on the workflow, and I already have the add to journal workflow. So I just tap again, I talk to the watch, and thank you very much, it's there.
I love workflow app. There's it seems like there's so much there that you can use. I'm still trying to figure out how to use it to its fullest, but again, your imagination is the limit.
Yeah, I mean, just the other day, our VP of product, Rafał, he put a blog post on Nozbe blog how he manages lots of things with workflow app. So when I read this, I was like, "Wow, this guy is amazing!" Nice. I'm going to. This is what inspired me to actually give it a try. And when you look at it, I mean, it's fantastic. And for example, like this very simple workflow that when you have a live photo, which is a very cool feature of iPhone 6s, you can actually convert it into a GIF or GIF. I don't know how to say it, but this animated, that everybody can see. And this is just one easy workflow, and that's it. Send it to someone, and they can enjoy your animated video. Animated photo, even if they don't have an iPhone 6s. So it's really cool.
Great. I'm going to grab the links for your blog post and the one that you just were talking about about workflow. I'll throw them in the show notes for this episode.
Perfect. Thank you.
So you've also done something else very Apple, which is go iPad only.
Yep.
So what made you think that? Why do you want to test that out? How has that worked? And I think you've even recently been testing out the iPad Pro.
Yeah. So it's been quite a while now. So like 4 years ago, in 2012, I think, I got my iPad 3 with a cellular network. So at that time, I was like, okay, Nozbe app is already pretty good on this. So let's see if other apps are good on this, and if I can actually get some work done. And I was about to go with my wife on our trip to the States, actually, and I thought, let's not take the laptop. Let's not take the MacBook Pro with us because we're going, on vacation. So let's just take the iPad with us, and let's see if I can, write something when I'm on the go, and if I can use it for booking our hotels and all these things. And it turned out that the apps were already mature enough to actually get things done. I mean, for me, for example, like when we were traveling, like the app, like Booking.com app to just book a hotel and things like that were very easy. And then, writing was also, I love the iPad for writing, actually, because when I put the iPad in vertical mode, like a piece of paper, right? And then I have an external keyboard, it's just a perfect writing experience. There's no distractions, just one app, writing, and you just write what you have to write, which is, I find it really, really cool. And for me, I think this was like the first incentive to actually go iPad only. And then I thought, I'm the CEO and marketing guy of Nozbe. Let's see if I can, I don't have to program, so I don't need like this typical programmer setup. So maybe I should just try to just work on the iPad because the experiment with the trip was so good. And I kept doing that, and I kept writing about it on my blog, and then I connected with my friend Augusto Pinard, and together we wrote actually an iPad-only book. And what we really loved about it was this concept of one app at a time. And Eric, as much as as we know it as productivity guys, what we always need for productivity is focus, right? This is the most important thing. And with the social media and all these things and other people emailing us, it's really hard to get a focused time. This is what you asked me just recently. So that's the thing. With the iPad, I feel more focused because there is an app for a purpose that I have to do something there, and I'm just there, and there's nothing else open, right? And now with iPad Pro, the thing is a little bit different because now I can actually have two apps at a time, which is actually cool because, for example, I can have a browser, so where I browse for the information, and then I have the editor to write something. But it's still very limited, It's not like on my iMac where I can have so many, windows open. So what I discovered is on the iPad you can actually get lots of done. iPad, if you have the cellular version, it's connected to the internet all the time, just like your iPhone. So it's you don't have to have a problem with connectivity, and the apps are really good, and tapping on the screen is fun. So and again, for productivity reasons, when you think about it, when we make our work more fun, we're more productive because it's just more fun.
Yeah. So you're finding that you can more singularly or single or maybe two tasks at the same time, or let me put it this way: even when you've got two split, when you're doing split screen on the iPad, you're still single tasking. You've got one thing that's open for reference, and you're working.
Exactly.
You're writing or responding or communicating on the other.
Yeah, because that was like the major problem. Let's say problem that I had with my iPad Air was the fact that I had to switch between apps too often, right? Or very often when I need the second screen, I would just put my iPhone, on the side to have like a second screen, right?
Right.
And now with split view, I have the second screen right there on the iPad. So this way I have the reference, and then I have the app that I'm using actually to get things done. And with working on iPad, the shift is pretty substantial from working on a computer, because on a computer you focus on files. So you open a file with an app, right? But you focus on files, and because you can choose different apps for the same kind of file, for example, like depending on what you want to do. I feel like on the iPad, it's more focused because I know, okay, this app serves me for this. This app serves me for, is for that. So in this way, the app is for a purpose, right? So, I don't know. For me, this, like, for example, I want to book a hotel. I go to Booking.com app. I don't go to Booking.com website. I go to Booking.com app.
Right.
So I'm not distracted by other websites. I'm not distracted by all the tabs I have open on Safari. I just open the Booking.com app and go and, book my hotel. So this, I don't know, it's a subtle thing, but I think it's just that's why I love it working on the iPad, that you have this like focused environments.
So are you fully iPad only, or do you still use laptop and desktop and all that, but just for different situations?
Yeah, so I'm a geek, I'm a technology geek. So
you gotta have it all.
You gotta have it all, right. So, like, for example, I gave my MacBook Pro to my wife, so she uses it. So we still have a MacBook in our household, but she has it as her computer. But I have my iMac, which I really like, and I have it in my home office as my computer, and I still use it very, very often right now, especially in my home office. But I still I have everything still such setup that I use my iPad Pro more, and I can do most of the things on my iPad Pro. So like when I have to travel or go somewhere, I just take my iPad Pro and that's it. So there is and thanks to, the additional benefit of this is that some similar apps are on the iPad and on the iPhone. So for example, very often when I just have my iPhone with me, I can still get lots of done because it almost resembles the setup of my iPad. Of course, it's a very small screen. I have the Plus version, but still a smaller screen. But again, it's more or less the same, right? So this way, I still do most of my work on my iPhone and iPad, but I have my iMac when I, for example, need to do really something that is very specific to the computer world, that like requires lots of copying, pasting, for example, things like that I prefer to have a computer because it's just faster. But usually I can get practically right now everything done on the iOS devices.
What's something that excites you, or is something that you're focusing on, working on, yourself personally for your productivity in this coming year?
Yeah, so I just read this book by Greg McKeown, Essentialism.
Yes.
Right? And it's a fantastic book, so I totally recommend it. And there was the other book, The One Thing, also a very cool book. This is something that I've been struggling with, I must admit. You want to get so much done, and as you can improve your productivity, you can actually afford to do many more things than you would normally do, right? But the problem is that very often, as we discussed, the focus is missing, or the excitement is missing. And in the past years, I managed to start lots of projects and complete them or half complete them, and I wasn't that focused, right? Because I had team already, behind me working on Nozbe. So like, for example, for this year, I really tried to, really focus on my a limited amount of things. So I have like a really limited amount of goals for this year to make sure that really I focus on the essential thing, on the essential things that I have, going for me. So of course, the most important thing is Nozbe, but then the second most important thing is my message about working without an office. So like the no office thing, because at some point I would like to write a book about it called No Office, and I have some plans also for this year to give some free books, related to this subject, because what I realized is that in our team we are in a unique position that we are one of the fewer companies that work like this. But the things that we've learned, the habits that we've picked up, and the ways that we work can be applied also to companies that work in an office. They would just work more efficiently.
Right, yeah.
Right? So that's why I decided, let's spread this message more, and actually let's learn from other companies, let's learn from other teams, and also share what we've learned and the best practices that we have, because we shouldn't keep it to ourselves. And Eric, you wouldn't believe. I mean, whenever I see someone, in person, and they ask me where, how we work and stuff, and then they ask, so where are you based? And then it's my favorite question of all. Like, I'm like, yeah, so, the thing is that we don't actually, I mean, the official, address is in Poland, but we don't have an office. We actually work from home. Right. Yeah. So where are you based then? People really don't get it. So for me, I think, and it's 2016. It's like with, we have amazing computers. We have amazing, even smartwatches, right? And we have amazing smartphones. We have so many great apps to communicate, to work together. I think, it's the moment to actually learn that we shouldn't be, commuting to work to go to a computer, right? We should, work where we feel, I mean, we should choose our, best lifestyle that fits us, right?
Right.
And help us get things done. Because this is ultimately what it comes down to. I mean, for me, I was that radical about not having an office because I always wanted to work like this. It was my dream. I mean, I wrote my thesis, back in the day when I was in college about actually teleworking. So for me, this was the thing that I was already passionate about because I was blown away that I could do so much stuff on a laptop without going anywhere, right? And now it's 2016, and people are still hesitant. What should we do? I mean, but if we let them work from home, they wouldn't get anything done, and we have to watch them, we have to sit by them, these kind of things. And yeah, so I decided, this message we should spread more this year. Along with with our celebration with Nozbe 3 that we're going to launch, all these things. So for me, really, I think this theme for 2016 is focus on the essential, focus on things that we give as value to everyone. Like, for example, Michael Hyatt is a fantastic guy. He's my mentor, and he's a good friend. He always said that he wants to make sure that when he does get work done, he wants to, only do the work where he can contribute the most. He doesn't want to do the work that he just, can let others do, and he doesn't have to contribute there. Like, for example, the assistant thing and all these things. So this is the same. We should, in Nozbe, in my writing, we should focus on where we contribute the most. And this is what I would try this year.
Yeah, that is a great goal. I think everybody needs to kind of strive towards doing that and really narrowing in and saying, okay, this is the stuff I'm going to get done this year versus I'm just going to get a lot done and not have checked everything off, project. We can get a lot of, in other words, to put it in project management or productivity speak, we could get a lot of tasks done this year, but instead of doing that, let's get the right tasks done that get the projects done.
Exactly, get a project done, and then get your message across, like your thing across. That really expand what you're doing, and show yourself.
Yeah,
right.
Great. That's a great landing point, actually, to end this episode on. So we've talked about a lot. I'm going to put a bunch of different links in the show notes for everybody to go everywhere that we've talked about. But more specifically, if somebody's running or walking or working out or I don't know, doing dishes, and they don't want to get their wet hands on a computer right now. Let's start by telling them where we can go to learn all about Nozbe. Well, in fact, I can tell them Nozbe, NOZBE.com/TODO, TODO. That's the link that gets you straight to the deal that we have set up with our sponsorship with you. But beyond that, where else can they go to find out more about you and follow you in your blog?
So, I mean, my blog is just like my last name, which is in Polish, kind of difficult. It's Sliwinski.com. So, like, if you go to Sliwinski.com, there are links also there to my social media. I'm very active on Twitter and Facebook, but mostly on Twitter. And so Sliwinski.com is my blog. All the information is there to connect with me, to contact me. Everything is there. And there's my course there. There's the podcast, links to the podcast, links to my videos, tutorials, everything that I've been working on so far.
Michael, it's been a privilege and a pleasure to speak with you. Let's continue and have you back once more stuff keeps progressing in the productivity world.
Okay, thanks, Eric. Thanks for this. Just a last thing, if I can add.
Yeah.
That to celebrate Nozbe, like our 9 years, we are actually launching right now Nozbe 3. So this is the new version of Nozbe, redesigned with new logo, So like it's a big celebration for us.
And so this as you're listening to us, it's out. It's out there right now.
Yep.
So go grab it. Happy birthday, Nosby.
Thank you so much.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation. I know that I did. I learned a few key things there, and I have linked to them in the show notes for this episode. You can get to them at beyondthetodolist.com/123. That's beyondthetodolist.com/123. That will take you right to this episode. I want to say thank you again to Michael, and I want to say thank you again to Nosby for supporting this episode of Beyond the To-Do List. And again, I want to say happy birthday to Nosby. Congratulations on 9 years being in this space and getting better and better, and for dropping Nosby 3.0 today. You got to go check it out. Head on over to nosby.com/todo. There you can start a 30-day free pro trial of Nosby. And when you upgrade to a continuing account, make sure to use the code TODO, TODO, and that'll get you 10% off moving forward. Again, that's nosby.com/todo, NOZBE.com/TODO. Thanks again for listening. I hope you got a lot out of this episode. Let me know in the show notes for this episode at beyondthetodolist.com/123. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next episode. Beyond the To-Do List is a proud member of the Noodle Mix Network. Find more of our award-winning and award-nominated podcasts to make you think, laugh, and succeed at noodle.mx.